My name is Rhapsody, welcome back to Slay the Spire. It is time to go into the daily challenge for the daily climb for the 23rd of March 2018. Time dilation, all enemies start with a slow buff, debuff rather. Binary, card rewards contain only 2 cards, and vintage, normal enemies drop relics instead of cards. I love that's counted as a negative when clearly it's a ridiculous positive. A lot of high scoring runs here, so it's very, very clear to me that this is quite possibly a winnable daily. Heck yeah, they're back. But here's the thing that I want to point out before we get into the run. Are you ready for a miracle? As ready as you can be? So, patch, sure. A lot of this is just a lot of the stuff that we'd seen prior pushed into the beta branch. Pushed from the beta branch rather into the main branch. There's an update for the Ironclad and Silent Art in their character selection series. That's pretty cool. We'll have a look at that as we go forward. There's a new curse card called the Ascender's Bane, which is unplayable and cannot be removed from your deck. That is what you get on the 10th level of Ascension now, rather than Parasite. Oftentimes, I would start my 10th level of Ascension by removing Parasite instantly, so I guess I'm lucky I did that early. New status card, Slimed. This is what the slimes are going to put in your deck rather than wounds. It is cost 1 and it has exhaust. I don't know if it's also ethereal. I thought it was, but it might actually just be cost 1 exhaust, so in order to get it out of your deck, you have to play it. That's kind of cool. I quite like that. A way to play around some of the statuses is going to be particularly helpful for decks that might have a little bit of difficulty, you know, resisting the negative effects of those statuses. Grand Finale, Clash, etc. Ooh, unceasing top runs as well. Void, unplayable. New status card. When this card is drawn, lose 1 energy. It is ethereal. I believe that can only be inflicted by the Awakened one, and he does it instead of the Dark Slime attack, which also makes you lose an energy. So this is going to make you lose an energy and a card. So I guess in a roundabout way, it's a little bit of a buff to the Unawakened one / Awakened one. Now, here is the one that's really important, and you may well have already seen it. Gameplay. Self-damage should no longer prevent perfect and champion achievement and score bonuses! Yeah! Are you ready for a miracle? Ready as I can be. Alright, let's go into the daily climb. Oh, by the way, let's actually look at the character art. Holy crumbs, it's so good! Ironclad time. When you get card choices, you only get 2 choices. Now, card rewards in this mode only occur after elite fights and boss fights, but it's going to make your card choices much more limited. So cards that we typically wouldn't think of as good, we should probably still take, like value picks we're going to have to take a lot of. Because we're going to be carried over the line by our relics. Our deck just has to be okay, rather than the inverse, which is what I typically plan around, having a ridiculous deck and then my relics being kind of just a little bit of a bonus around the edges. Ooh, okay, this is a path with a lot of question marks. Actually, you don't want question marks in this, do you? Yes, you might actually want to avoid as many question marks as you can possibly avoid in this particular mod, because normal enemies drop relics instead of cards. Toxic Egg. Whenever you add a skill card to your deck and it's upgraded, that's not going to happen commonly, but when it does, full stop. I'm not obligated to finish that sentence. Now, courtesy of the Burning Blood, we are going to be healing up by 6 at the end of every fight, so I'm just going to purposefully allow myself in a lot of fights on the first floor to take 6 damage. This is just the standard operating procedure for me. Ooh, okay. I don't have the ability to kill the Louse in the front line, because Bash Strike is still only going to deal 17 damage, and with the slow, you're on, yeah, too much. That's okay, though. We'll kill the back line, and then since the frontliner wasn't actually doing a self-buff that turn, we were going to be able to block any incoming damage. Gambling chip, the start of each combat, discard as many cards as you'd like and then draw that many. That means we can have a more consistent opening draw with a thicker deck, which is always quite nice. Unfortunately, we do not have the ability to purchase that Apotheosis. I probably would. In fact, I almost certainly would. Now, Shrug It Off or Ghostly Armor, we can take either of those and they will be immediately upgraded, courtesy of the Toxic Egg. Both of those would help us tend towards a much more defensive deck. Ghostly Armor with the upgrade becomes 13 block. Shrug It Off becomes 11 block with also drawing 1 card. I usually play more aggressive decks. I'm going to take a single copy of Shrug It Off, and I'm also going to card remove, as a result, a defend. So I'm effectively upgrading one of my defends to have 6 more block and draw a card there. Speaking of upgrading, we'll upgrade the Bash because we have no other non-standard cards yet. Oh, wow. They all had their artifacting taken by the slow debuff. Interesting, the artifacting actually does completely stop that. I wouldn't have thought it would, but it does make sense. Yeah, my next hand is going to be Shrug It Off, defend, defends, strike, strike. Not really what I want. So I'm going to throw 3 of these cards back because I'm playing Bash Strike this turn anyway. Actually, with this block potion and the swift potion, it is theoretically possible. Wow. What a garbage hand. It's theoretically possible that I can actually get through this without losing any HP. So now I'm completely protected here. Deal 18 damage in the back line, put you on 11 HP. Yeah, may as well. I'm gonna see if I can perfect this elite here. Shrug It Off is gonna be extremely helpful in the course of trying to do that. Okay. Just got to get, like, Shrug It Off or 2 defends in this hand and we are fine. Or we could just have both Shrug It Off and 2 defends. Ah, we lost it. Even if we get 3 strikes in the next hand, right? We deal 10 damage to the Sentry, it goes down to 27. Actually, if we get 3 strikes in the next hand, we can kill this Sentry and save ourselves the elite. So come on. No, 2 strikes. We only have 1 defend in the rest of our deck there, so there was no way we were going to be able to just defend against it. That's really unfortunate. I tried very hard to make that a perfect there. Wee bit more offense would have done it. Ginger, you can no longer become weakened, and we get to add a card to our deck. Now, both armaments... Well, armaments would immediately upgrade, courtesy of the Toxic Egg. And it fits in a more defensive build. And courtesy of the Gambling Chip, we can play a thicker deck than we otherwise might. That said, we're not going to add that many cards to our deck, courtesy of the limitation, right? Being normal enemies drop relics instead of cards. A third of them, if we picked powers, skills, and attacks all equally, a third of our cards would come pre-upgraded. And upgrading these isn't significant. I'm actually not going to take the armaments. Since we're not going to be adding that many cards to our deck, we're going to have an opportunity by the end of this to have most of our cards upgraded regardless. We could take Inflame and then try and go for, like, Limit Break. But how likely is it that we get Limit Break, right? I'm going to upgrade a Strike just because we're going into another Elite and I'd really like to have some more offensiveness on my side. Since my bash is upgraded, I can't bash before waking up the Lagavulin. The bash itself will wake up the Lagavulin, so I'm just going to try and have bash, strike, strike. Beautiful. Yeah, we'll race you here. Actually, I think I'm supposed to play my highest damage attacks at the very end so they get a better result from the rounding. Okay. Beautiful. Give him the business. Mercury Hourglass at the start of your turn deals 3 damage to all enemies. I love this relic. Clash is probably not a relic that I want to put into a deck that has Shrug It Off, because Shrug It Off is a skill that costs 1 energy that I'm not going to remove from my deck. And when I play Shrug It Off, if I draw another skill, I have to then play that skill before I can play Clash. So if I have Shrug It Off and 2 defends in my hand, and then I Shrug It Off and it draws a defend, I have a turn of literally just blocking, and I can still not play Clash. Clash is really good, and I like Clash. I don't think I can take it. That's Omamori. Negate the next 2 curses you obtain. They just completely prevent from adding to your deck. It's quite handy. Really? Kind of displeased about how that went down. Said, we can make you split here. Delectable. I'm talking partly about the results on the screen and partly about this delectable White Russian that I have concocted for myself. Negate the next 2 curses you obtain, and then we've got Blue Candle. Curse cards can now be played. Playing a curse will make you lose 1 HP and exhaust the card. I'm assuming that that will no longer prevent you from perfecting a fight, because that should count as self-damage. Sure. I'm actually fine to fight the elite here. Primarily because it's another opportunity to card. We're kind of hurting for those. No, I had the extra energy. That's my bad. That's entirely my bad. I don't want to be making those mistakes. It looks like it's not going to cost me a turn. Yeah. So overall, that didn't actually cost me any energy, but still. Dufu Doll. For each curse in your deck, start with 1 additional strength. Now Omamori is garbage for me because I want to add curses to my deck. Anger and Headbutt. I don't think we take either of those. Ooh. This deck isn't doing anything yet. Or it's doing a lot of nothing, rather. We do heal majorly in between floors. That slime boss, though, is a little scary. I'm going to upgrade another card here. I might rest after this elite. We'll see how it goes. Should have played the Shrug first there. Okay, another Shrug. Smaller attack, larger attack. Beautiful. Pantograph at the start of boss combats heal 25 HP, which does make it the correct decision to have not rested prior. Okay, give him that bash. Show me that smile. Lovely, Gremlin Knob, lovely. I'm fine with taking the 14 here because it guarantees my kill next turn. Ice Cream energy is now conserved between turns. Handy, handy. Berserk. If your HP is at or below 50%, gain energy at the start of each turn. The deck is currently not going to get there super often because we have the Shrug It Off. I know we are currently on less than that. That's true. Maybe I should take it. Alright. Let's take it. We heal 25 going into the boss fight. We'll upgrade the Berserk so that we can play it. Because the thing is, Ice Cream energy is now conserved between turns. Means that any saving of energy is a saving of energy that will be used later. Even if it's not used on that turn. It is going to be available for me at some point. Ah, yes. You just put 3 slimes in my deck rather than negating my draw? You bastard. I'm displeased about that one. Okay, I do have the ability to split you here. I probably should, in fact. If I had even a wee bit of defense there, I wouldn't have done it, but you kind of forced my hand on that one, buddy. Ooh. I could easily see these slimes, or rather the slime idea, needing to be nerfed at some point. I could have used a explosive potion there. Done a hell of a lot of damage. I just don't think it's going to be necessary. Alright, they're all on 6, so if I can just stay safe for 2 turns. And no need to. I could just have all of my enemies die to the Mercury Hourglass. Warpaint. Upon pickup, upgrade 2 random skills. At the moment, that is only going to target 2 defends. If we take a skill here, it would already be upgraded courtesy of Toxic Egg. I think here, we actually just take Bludgeon because we want a high impact card in our deck. And we've already got an upgraded Bash, so Bash is going to apply vulnerability for the turn that it is played, and 2 turns afterwards. With a deck this thin, in that time, we will draw into and likely play our Bludgeon. This is probably the worst one. Question card on card reward screens. You have 1 additional card to choose from. That happens so rarely. We're going to need to hit up a lot of shops in order to try and get what we want for this kind of deck. Black Blood replaces Burning Blood at the end of combat, heal 10 HP. It is 4 more HP than Burning Blood. So it's just effectively another relic, but it says heal 4 HP at the end of each combat. Yeah, okay. I really don't want to take Philosopher's Stone, but I really want the extra energy so that I have the ability to play Bludgeon alongside a Defend or a Shrug It Off into Bludgeon. Like, the amount of times that I'm going to Shrug It Off, draw Bludgeon, and only have 3 energy and not be able to play it because I played a Shrug It Off costing 1 energy, I've got 2 energy when I draw the Bludgeon. That's going to be really terrifyingly sad. Also, Ice Cream energy is now conserved between turns is going to make the Philosopher's Stone so much better because if we ever float energy, it's just there for us later. So Philo Stone is rough. It's rough, especially in Ironclad. In Silent, you have ways to mitigate it, right? You have much, much, much better block potential courtesy of the Power Footwork, which is gain 2 decks, upgraded version gain 3. But on top of that, and way more importantly, in fact, you have Weakness. So you have a really, really easy way to mitigate a lot of the effect of Philo Stone. Like, we can straight up hit 3 early shops. I'm probably not going to get a relic at any of them. Like, I think that'd be a bit of a daft idea to do. But I'm almost certainly going to go to them. Hang on for a second while I figure out what I'm going to do. I'm almost certainly going to go to them just so that I can try and find a card or 2 to put in this deck. Seeing Red, Offering, both giant priorities for me right now. Bottled Flame. Upon pickup, choose an attack card. The card will be in your opening hand every combat. We'll do that with Bludgeon. Am I looking for bash? I mean, I have another upgraded strike in there, so I'm effectively just trying to dig through my deck right now. Yeah, that makes sense. We didn't get the upgraded strike, but it's fine. Next hand has bash, upgraded strike, and a normal strike. That's fine. Now, the ordering there was correct, because you need the vulnerability applied earlier, but you also want to play your largest attacks last. So, vulnerability first, and then I was attacking from smallest to largest. And that is so that the largest attacks have the effect of the percentage increase from the upgrades to slow from time dilation. I didn't actually explain this at the very start, and that's my apologies. Time dilation applies the debuff to all enemies slow, which is for each card played this turn, the enemy will take 10% more damage for the next. Or rather, for the followings. Shuriken, every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain a strength. That's handy. It's quite handy, in fact. Well, see, Limit Break is like a win condition for us now, especially considering we have Shuriken, right? So we can get that strength started. But we also don't play that many small attacks. I think maybe I actually want Intimidate. Especially because it's going to upgrade. It'll apply 1 weak to all enemies and then exhaust out of my deck. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to remove a normal strike. Shuriken is going to be extra strength occasionally, and that'll be fine. I have to throw the bash because I do need to play the rest of these. The bash, rather. I have to play the... throw the bludgeon. If I had an upgrade to bludgeon, I might be able to keep it in my opening hand a lot more of the time. That's effectively what I was playing for when I put it in my bottle flame. I forgot that I had Happy Flower. That's my apologies. At the very least, we do have the extra energy still with us. So... while it was a mistake, I'm not really being punished for it, which is my favorite kind of mistake. Girya, you can now gain strength at rest sites. We're quite likely to do that a couple times, which now makes it probably a mistake not to have put a limit break in the deck. Because this is going to be a much easier condition to meet. Yeah, I'm now going to dodge an elite. $41 damage. Hell yeah, don't mind if I do. We got weakened there as well. Beautiful. And again, trying to weaken me. The enemy is still buffing itself, which is annoying, but we weren't even weakened. Strawberry, raise your max HP by 7. Sounds good to me. Let's lift. I do need to upgrade my bludgeon as soon as possible, but let's lift. So Heavy Blade is going to be guaranteed 3 upgrades. So 3 by 5 is 15, so it does 29 damage for 2 energy, the Heavy Blade. No, we just continue to thin our deck. Okay. More question marks? Ooh, no, more rests. Art of War. If you don't play any attacks during your turn, gain an extra energy next turn. Handy. Not great, not horrible. It's handy. Okay. Shouldn't be too difficult to take out the frontliner here. Is there a better way to do this? Like defend, strike... I mean, not really. Oof. That said, it shouldn't even be that difficult to deal with a Mystic now. Now you can see the Philo Stone really hasn't severely negatively affected me at all. I obviously should have played that defense at the very start of that turn, by the way. I'm still trying to get used to playing with slow debuff on every enemy. Toolbox at the start of each combat, add a random colorless card to your hand. Most of the time, that's going to be helpful. Weakness is going to be pretty good, especially against multi-attacking enemies. And I think we have a multi-attacking boss this floor. Yeah, we do. So we'll throw the explosive. Yeah. Probably not the best time to have thrown that explosive out of my hand. Alright. That and that. Beautiful. You won't die to the AoE. 16. Alright, I'm gonna throw a firebomb at you. Because this move would have put block on him, and I didn't want to have to focus any attacks on him next turn. Alright. Now targeting exclusively that backline this turn could well get it done. Yep. We really need that bludgeon upgraded as soon as possible. Meat on the bone, if your HP is at or below 50% at the end of combat, heal by 12 HP. Now that is super helpful because we do have the Philosopher's Stone, which is going to make it more likely we take that damage. But more so than that, it means that if Berserk is active, we're still going to get back up to some reasonable HP after a fight where Berserk was active. We only have one draw card in our deck, so we could easily take a Battle Trance. And it's a draw card that has quite a good benefit outside of its own draw. We'll remove now probably a Defend at this point. We'll lift here for the final time. Thank you, Girya. Get Jaxed? Yeah, because Jax is also going to immediately upgrade itself courtesy of the Toxic Egg. So it's going to be lose 3 HP, which isn't going to prevent us from perfecting boss fights. Gain 3 strength. Now I'm really sad I didn't pick up that Limit Break. I didn't, outside of the Shuriken, which isn't really doing that much work for us at the moment. Like, we're getting occasional triggers of the Shuriken, but the thing you've got to think is, am I going to get reliable triggers of the Shuriken before I get my first Limit Break? If not, Limit Break, my first draw is going to be a dead card, and also including that Limit Break is going to make it less likely that I get those Shuriken triggers. It's also worth noting that my deck since then has tended away from a bunch of attacks. So I still don't think that ignoring the Limit Break at that time was the wrong thing to do, because there have been times in my past where I pick up a Limit Break and then I never get any support for it. I'm like, god damn it. And a lot of the support for Limit Break is card orientated. You get your Spot Weakness, you get your Inflame. I know I already turned down Inflame. I understand that. You get your Spot Weakness, you get your Inflame, you get your Flex, especially. We just happen to immediately then get Girya and now get Jax. So Limit Break would now be one of the most OP things we could pick up. So here we will smith the Bludgeon finally. We only have one more card that we need to smith. Hell yeah. Panacea is really good. I should play it super early. Actually, what I want to play here is as many debuffs on my enemy as I possibly can. Just to work through my enemy's artifacting. I can't draw this turn, so... Alright, we got 3 attacks there. We got a bunch of extra strength. And, of course... Yeah, we're not going to be protecting ourselves against this attack, are we? I mean, the bludgeon on the backline kills, If I weaken the Bronze Automaton, you go down to 6/2. And then I can defend for 8. Dex takes that up to 10. I still take 2 damage to the Bronze Automaton. If I want to kill anything this turn, I'm taking some damage to that Bronze Automaton. I really do want to kill something this turn. So we'll let the orb take something from our deck, because this now means we're already incentivized to kill the orb, but as soon as it dies, we get that card back. And we just get to play it. Hell yeah. Alright, this fight just became a hell of a lot easier. $75 damage casually, don't mind if I do. Ooh. Actually, we should still just double strike bludgeon. Yeah. I was thinking about using another bash, keeping the vulnerability up, but no need to. Goodbye forever. Limit break. Bronze scales. Whenever you take damage, deal 3 damage back. Nice. Another dex potion, and no limit break. We do, however, get an exhume. Now, exhume for us will immediately upgrade as soon as we pick it up. Toxic Egg is happy about that. And it's also effectively just going to be another Jax. Sure. Awesome. Cursed Key. Gain extra energy at the start of each turn. Whenever you open a non-boss chest, obtain a curse. There is also the choice of taking Snecko Eye here, which would make Bludgeon and Bash more playable. But Snecko Eye would make Intimidate, Jax, Exhume, Battle Trance, and literally every other card in my deck much less playable. And since we have 5 energy, courtesy of Cursed Key, and occasionally we'll have 6, courtesy of the Happy Flower, we're going to have way too much energy already. And we even have enough energy that we can now play a Bash and a Bludgeon in the same turn. We don't need that Snecko Eye. Donu and or Decker. Sure, I've got my path pretty easily defined for me. Woohoo! Flash of Steel. Don't mind if I do. Well, we're gonna have to Jax, then Flash of Steel, then Berserk, then Battle Trance, then Exhume, then Jax, then Intimidate. Alright, now how much damage do I do? A lot? A lot of damage? Okay. Letter Opener. Every time you play 3 skills in a turn, which we do quite often, actually, deal 5 damage to all enemies. And a Poison Potion should probably replace Dex Potion for us, let's be honest. Fight for a relic? I don't know about that. I'm not a fan of relics myself. Intimidate. Panacea. Battle Trance. Jax. Exhume. Jax. Alright. I know, it seems to go pretty well for me. Enemy killed itself trying to attack me. Can't say I'm sad about it. I don't need to take any more damage in this fight. I heal 6 up at the very end. Bye. Birdface turn. Whenever you play a power, heal 2 HP. Don't mind if I do. No, still not an armaments deck. I was effectively correct. Armaments can upgrade 1 card in my deck. So picking up the armaments before would not have been correct. At the very least, for the way that I ended up making the deck. If I had the armaments, I may have started to pick a lot more cards. That said, how many cards are you really going to pick when you can only pick 1 of 2 cards, and card choices are quite rare? We have shops later. Yeah, I'm not gonna get the red mask, thank you. Kind offer, but not for me. Okay. Defend. Madness, the fucking bludgeon down to 0. I was trying not to swear. Whoops. Bye. Anchor. Start each combat with 10 block. Don't mind if I do. This is probably more important than the poison potion. Ooh, secret technique. Interesting. Well, if Exhume was still in my deck, I would have used it to get the Jax. Exhume. Jax. Battle Trance. Secret technique to get literally the only technique that was still in my deck. Just so that I can draw everything else. Defend, because I know the rest of my hand costs 5, so I may as well. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. That all went pretty damn well, if I do say so myself. Thread a needle at the start of each combat. Gain 5 plated armor. That's going to be really handy. It's going to be very difficult for enemies to hit us. Transmutation. Add X random colorless cards into your hand. I'm afraid that's probably not a great idea to spend all of my energy. Okay, shrug it off. Did not get the card I was hoping for, unfortunately. Alright. Well, at the very least, I've taken no enemy damage in this fight. So all's well in that regard. Gremlin Horn. Hell yeah. Whenever an enemy dies, gain an energy and draw a card. True Grit. We've got Donu and Decker on the final fight. They put days into your deck, so True Gritting those isn't actually going to be that good for me. All right, we're fine. Rage. Whenever you play an attack this turn, gain 3 block. Immediately upgrades to gain 5. No, you know what it is? It's Runic Dodecahedron. No, but my first turn, I always expend 6 HP doing Jax and then the upgraded next Jax. So Runic Dodecahedron for us is exactly the same as Lantern. Because we'll only ever have Runic Dodecahedron active for the first turn. Now, Pummel is actually interesting. We have 3 strength by base. We Jax, then we Exhume. We Jax again. Total, we end up with 9 strength. This will be deal 11 damage 5 times for 1 energy. It's 55 damage. It's not bad. But it's only once. If that was a heavy blade, I would take it, but it's not a heavy blade, so I'm not going to take it. Instead, I'm going to take the Lantern. And keep on chugging forward. Upgrade the final card in my deck. Don't mind if I do. Take that, Armaments Apotheosis. Who needs you? That's a whetstone. I'll pick it up just for the possible score modifier at the end of the game. Lose a strike plus. Don't mind if I do. I was actually going to remove one. Ooh, receive 2 madness, lose 11 HP. Now, the Toxic Egg will immediately upgrade those madnesses, so they are going to cost 0 rather than 1, which is actually going to make it so much easier to go through my whole deck and play everything. Now, card draw. Any card draw is so important in this deck. It's going to be really difficult for us to not just play everything every turn easily. Let me give you some sort of a case in point. Bye. The Courier. Merchant no longer runs out of cards, relics, or potions, and his prices are reduced by 20%. There's a fire potion for us. We want to keep the weakness potion. We'll probably drop the dex one, actually. Thunderclap is actually quite good in this deck, isn't it? It's a very, very cheap setup for vulnerability. Yeah. And it benefits from strength because it does AoE and we're up against an AoE boss, sure. So we'll go here, Smith the Thunderclap. I actually probably should have gone on the left-hand side, gotten one extra question mark space because I don't have that many things to Smith. Sundial, every 3 times you shuffle your deck, gain 2 energy. Yeah. Energy's not going to be our problem, I have a feeling. I have a feeling, woohoo, that tonight's going to be a good night. That tonight's going to be a good night. That tonight's going to be a good night. I got a feeling. I need to get down to the rest of my card draw and get all of my Jax shenanigans active. Like, Jax, you zoom, Jax again, you shrug it off, and then you're fully defended, and then you madness, and then you madness, and then you thunderclap, and you start attacking the back line. And you double defend. Now, it doesn't matter the order in which I play my cards against these enemies because they were artifacted, so time dilation is not affecting them. Okay. Those days are going to be particularly powerful against us. It's time for us to draw some cards. Really? Frontline's weakened. That's 22 damage that the enemy is posing. That's exactly more than I can ever deal with. Screw you. I guess maybe I would have wanted to hold on to that Dex potion. I think I was incorrect. I think the Dex potion hold would have been a better idea. I think I undervalued it at the time, and I think that's the mistake that I'm paying for right now. We could have perfected this fight! Yeah, we easily could have perfected this fight. Damn. So we would have 100 extra at the end. Alright. Oh boy. That's a low score. We did get 3 champions, so it looks like the Jack stuff wasn't screwing with us. We did get Overkill. We got Lightspeed and I Like Shiny. All of the ones that I expected to get. We could have gotten 100 more and we would have been 991. But still, that's a wee bit lower than I'd have thought. I guess, what invalidated me? Let's have a look at my statistics. Because the ones that I would typically want to go for, Highlander, right. The second copy of Madness prevented me from getting Highlander, which would have been an extra 50. Highlander is only having, other than basic cards, only having 1 copy of each card in your deck. What else could I have easily gone for? I'm not sure I know. We didn't get that many curses offered to us. Like, we got Omamori before any curses were offered to us, and we only ever had 2 curses offered, both from the Cursed Key. So curses, exclamation mark, which is 100 extra score modifier for having more than 5 or more, rather, curses in your deck, wasn't really that available to us. We did have the Overkill for a ridiculous damage bludgeon than we did at some point. I guess we did only have like 3 triggers of champion, and we could have gotten a hell of a lot more if the build came together just a wee bit earlier, and we could have had, you know, 100 more if we didn't take literally 1 damage in that final boss fight. For the moment, though, My name has been Rhapsody, the name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.